everyone. I hope we're doing well. And we get to start with a J. Dyer puzzle. Uh, I, if you hung around for the setting stream where I set the Renban Japanese sums puzzle, that puzzle is now up on Logic Masters Germany. It was a bit of an adventure. This is perhaps the third time I think that I've had a puzzle go through testing and found that there was a significant error in it, but that error was fixed. And so it is now up on LMD where it is where it has been well received. So anyway, if you want to do the puzzle set by zetamath and chat, I encourage you to do so. Oh, it's a Nell's Q. Excellent. I had a lot of fun setting it. I am looking forward to the sequel, which I have a lot of ideas for. Because I think I even mentioned at the time, sort of, I had an idea for a puzzle, and then I decided, okay, let me make the easier version of this first, and then I'll make the crazier version second. So I think I'm going to take a similar space based on this. But today we get to start with this J. Dyer puzzle. So I admit I have wanted to do this J. Dyer puzzle a lot, but I have been putting it off because when I first saw it and wanted to do it, it had appeared on Cracking the Cryptic like the day before, so I tried to give it a little bit of space. But now my supporters have voted for me to do it, so I don't have to feel any guilt about doing it now. So let's go. So this puzzle was voted for by the following supporters. So Screaming Ice Cube, David, Plonktime, Jay, Russ, David, Luda, and the Kajito. So thank you to all of you for your support. And I don't think there's anything else I have to say. So let's get started. So we have normal Sudoku rules. Digits may not repeat within a cage, and each cage sums to one of 4 distinct totals, which must be determined. I feel like the first puzzle I did with these rules, I don't know, I feel like J. Dyer had a puzzle with these rules, but I think I did one by, who's the person who invented S-cells? I think it's the person who invented S-cells. Was the first person I saw do rules with these puzzles. Star Waragami, there we go, I think. But anyway, cages that share an edge must have different sums, and no digit may appear in multiple cages with the same. Okay, that last part, that last clause, that part I have. That part is new. I've not seen that before. Let's see. This cluster, is it true that all of these touch each other? I think in this cluster, all of these touch each other. Yeah, that is true. So if I wanted to sort of get started coloring, I could, and I probably will move these colors. I could start with that. And why I know that is because I know that all of these touch each other. So that has to be every possible sum. If I look at it. Now, I'm not sure that is immediately super helpful. Like, I can say things like, well, this is not one of those two, so it must be red or green, and these at least aren't green, but that one could be green. Yeah, there are at most 9 cells of each color. That's true. And there are 34 total caged cells. So that means that there are only 2 sort of aren't there. 1 cell can't be the same as a 4 cell. I agree. Actually, it's even going to be awfully hard for the 1 cell to be the same as the 3 cell, isn't it? I think this is going to have to be red, actually. So if this is the same as the 3 cell, how can that possibly work? The reason why it's a problem is because I need a minimum of 7 cells in each color. So I would need 3 more yellow cells somewhere. It certainly couldn't be 3-cell cage, because I can't possibly have 2 3-cell cages that sum to a single digit total and don't overlap. That's not possible. So I would have to have actually 2 2-cell cages. So is it possible that this works out? So it would just, Emma says it would just work to have a 9, a 3-cell 9, and 2 2-cell 9s. I don't think so. I don't think it works. Let's just try it, but I don't think that works. I think this is the thing, because there are 4 2-cell 9 sums, but this 3-cell 9 cage would break 3 of them, and so that does not work. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So I don't think this can be the single digit sum. So I think this is red. I think we have now proven that works. Hey, Math Pesto. I bet there's a more elegant way to phrase what I just did, because the way I did it was kind of messy, but it was very intuitive. I feel like that it was not going to work that way. Okay, so red is the single digit. Okay, right. And so now red is the single digit, and so as Emma points out, now this can't be red because 4 cells always sums to at least that. Oh, let's get Casey, our new windmill. Let us get Casey a windmill dance. And Tristan was working on getting you to show up in the screen as a windmill, but let's get you that. Boop 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 boop. Woohoo! Boop boop woohoo! Boop boop woohoo! Thank you, Casey. Welcome, Casey. Okay, so this is green. And so now there is at most 1 more green cage in the entire puzzle because of that. Sayori said the same thing. Let's see. Okay. So I think we've argued before this 3-cell can't be red. Because we argued that a single digit cell can't sort of overlap with a 3-cell or it will break. So this isn't red or green, so this is certainly yellow or blue. Now, is one of those particularly suspicious? If it was blue, then we'd have at most a blue domino. If there was a blue domino, then blue would definitely be 15. I do have to be careful to make sure that there aren't 2 different totals that are each 15. So, like, I can't have 2 colors that are 9 cells and have 3 cages, for example. That would break for sure. I don't know that coloring that is useful. Does row 2 column 5 go in column 6? Eh? I don't think I know anything about that. Hey, Blackjack Fitz. I hope you're doing well. Okay. So what if there's a color with only 7, or what if there's a color with only 7 cells? I think that breaks. I think if there's a color with only 7 cells, then the other colors each have 9 cells. But if the colors have 9 cells, then their sum is a divisor of 45. And what are the divisors of 45 we could use? We could use 15 and 9. Couldn't use 5. That's not at all possible. So I think we'd have 3 colors that would have to come from 15 and 5, and that doesn't work. It's not 35 total cells, it's 34 total cells is what chat told me. If it's actually 35, I think the puzzle's broken. But I think that math argues that for 2 colors there are 8, and for 2 colors there are 9. And the 2 colors that are 9 sum to 15 and 9. So one of the totals is 15, one of the totals is 9, and then the other 2 are 8 cells. And so for the 9 cell total to 9, that means there are 5 totals to 9. So row 2, column 5 is 9. So there has to be a 1 cell cage in the one where there's a sum to 9, because you need 5 cells to 9, and you can't have 5 cells. You can't have 5 cages without a 1 cell cage by the pigeonhole principle or whatever. And so therefore this number is 9. And we can get our 9 dance. Ba-doop-ba-doop. Wah! Ba-doop ba-doop. Whoa! Ba-doop ba-doop. Wah! Ba-doop 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 ba-doop. Wah! Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Okay, so that is a good start, and we know we need 3 more red dominoes. We cannot have a red triomino. So can we just sort of figure out by force where those are? So if at most one of those is red, at most one of these is red, and at most one of these is red. So yeah, so one of each of these pairs is red. So I'm going to red white these, and we're just going to sort of understand that I mean that one of these is red, one of these is red, and one of these is red. In order to make the red work. Okay. That was an unexpected but cool break-in. I agree. Because we argued no color has 7 cells in it, green doesn't have 7 cells, so green has a domino somewhere else. And therefore green is 15. Right, so green is 15 because of that. So I'm happy when people in chat say the thing I think I'm proving as I say it. So green is 15, and so it's a 2-cell sum, a 3-cell sum, and a 4-cell sum to 15. I don't know if that has any options or not. But anyway, so now a very good point by Emma is that this can't be blue, because if this is blue, we now lock out the possibilities for what blue could be. Because remember, nothing can take 7 cells, and we've already said the 2 colors that take 9 cells have to be green and red. So this can't be blue. And so if this is not blue or green or red, it's yellow. Uh-oh, that's already broken though, isn't it? No. Sorry, we get a yellow domino. Okay. So yeah, so these yellows in box 5 are these 3 cells, because remember the yellows don't overlap. Uh, Sayori claims that means these 3 cells add to yellow, but I don't know that I believe that. Oh, I do believe that, right? Because these 3 cells in column 6 are there. Okay, got it. Okay, so that is very cool. Okay, so yeah, these 3 cells go there in column 6. So therefore, these add to yellow. So in particular, this cell's not yellow, and it's not red. So this must be green or blue, except I don't think. Maybe it could be blue, actually. Maybe blue is okay. Uh, uh, Remind me. Okay, so red, there's 9 cells of, and yellow, there's 9 cells of. So there's not 9 cells of green, right? Right. It is yellow. No, sorry. It is red and green are the ones that there's 9 cells of. Sorry. Uh, uh, it's green that's 15. Right? Green is 15. I'm going to pull out my pen tool. So 9 red, 9 green, and 8 blue, and 8 yellow. I have written this on top of my color pad in the thing. You can't see it, but I wrote it on top of that. Okay. Okay. So 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 yellow's sum is larger than this is 1 point. And so the question is, can yellow be larger than 15? And the answer is no, yellow can't be larger than 15 because yellow, there's going to be 3 yellow cages, and yellow is going to be strictly less than 14, or strictly less than 15 because the 3 yellow cages are going to have 8 total digits. So yellow can't sum to more than 15, which it would if I made these green. So these aren't green, they're blue. Okay. I'm still looking for another green domino. Yeah, blue is less than yellow. This definitely isn't yellow because it's already in yellow. Okay, so right. Okay, so the point is this domino this domino has a digit in it that's already in yellow because I know this digit is one of those 3 and it touches blue and green. That's a great spot, Ron. So this domino is red. So this domino is not red. So this domino is yellow or green over here. Very, very clever. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, and I need one of those to be red, and I need one of these to be red. And blue's sum is less. Blue is more than 10 at least. So blue doesn't have that many options. Because if it was 10, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and this wouldn't be possible, Kyle. Yeah, but look at where the blue cells are. It's not actually possible. So blue is it. Could blue even be 11? Is that even possible? Because if blue was 11, I don't think that works either. I think if blue is 11, there are 4 ways to make 11, and I break them all by doing that, right? So I could make 0 additional sums to 11, so it's not 11 either. So what about 12? So if I did 1, 2, 3, 6, then I could still do 4, 8, and 5, 7. So 12 is possible. If I did 1, 2, 4, 5, then I could do 3, 9 only. Okay, so it can be 12, but if it is 12, it's exactly 1, 2, 3, 6. So it's possible that blue is 12. So blue is 12 or 13. Let me write that up here in a little smaller size. 12 or 13. I agree this is the difference between the two of them. I can write 1 or 2 in here, but it's not what I'm focused on at this moment. Because yellow, remember, is bigger than blue by that cell. However, yellow is still less than 14. So, therefore, this cell is 13 or 14. Or 14. 14. So there we go. Okay, oops. Wrong mode. Okay, so anyway, this is a 1, 2. This is a 7, 8. Because of that, do I want to think through the possibilities for 13? I don't know that I do. So this cage can't sum to 15. Oh my god, that's beautiful. I love that. That is a step I would be incredibly proud to put into a puzzle. That is that is a delightful, like that is the kind of step that makes me really happy to see in puzzles, because the only 2 ways to make 15 are 6, 9, and 7, 8, and conveniently this can't be either of them. So this is not green. So it is yellow. Okay. So now we've got all the yellow things. So nothing anymore is yellow. So this in particular is now red or blue are the only options. What's wrong with 6, 7 sums to 13? Let's see. Green sums to 15. We still have to find the place for the green domino. Oh, what you're really saying is that these can't be a 13-14 pair, because if these are 13 and 14, that's 1 and 8, and now my 14 doesn't work because the only two ways to make 14 are 6 8 and 5 9. Okay, so blue can't be 13. Uh, uh, that is, uh, to put it kindly, a very chat sort of spot. So if blue is 13, yellow is 14, this digit's 1, that's an 8. This sums to 14. And now that is not possible. So uh, blue's not 13. Blue is 12. And now that's very convenient because we already said that this can't be 1, 2, 4, 5. Stop it. This can't be 1, 2, 4, 5. We already said. Because if this is 1, 2, 4, 5, now we can make 3, 9 and 6, 6. But 6, 6 is a problem because you can't repeat digits within a color. So this is actually 1, 2, 3, 6 is what my blue domino here is. And the other blue dominoes are 4, 8, and 3, 9. Well, this one, therefore, is 4, 8. So the other blue domino, sorry, 5, 7. I said 3, 9, but I meant 5, 7. Oh, but if I meant 5, 7, that doesn't actually work. So this is 5, 7 or 4, 8. Sadly, 3, 9, I already used the 3. Okay. Hey, Manu. Thank you for keeping the books, Kyle. Okay, so do I know anything interesting about this 3-cell 15? Because a 3-cell 15 needs a high digit. Or unless it's 4, 5, 6 exactly. And I see that there's 2 high digits that don't go in many places in this cage, at least. And if... maybe, okay. Let's see. Kyle is saying we can't put 9 into this 3-cell yellow cage for some reason, because it would be 913, perhaps. 9 can't be 912, obviously. I don't quite see that yet. Ron thinks a 4, 5, 6 here would break the 4-cell 15 sum. I admit I have absolutely no knowledge whatsoever of what a 4-cell 15 sum looks like. I suppose I can pull down the killer calculator and look at the 4-cell 15 sums. There's a lot of them, of course. I guess there's only 4. They do, in fact, all involve a 4, 5, or 6. I can see by exhaustion. So this really is a... oh, no, sorry, they don't, because there's a 1, 2, 3, 9. I was going to be really surprised if that were true, but then it looked like it was true, but I was just not scanning very well. Let's see. if yellow is 13, then this is a 1. That's an 8. I don't see why this couldn't be 6, 7. Sayori has the point, which is what digit is missing in yellow? That's the point. The digit that's missing in yellow, if yellow sums to 13, would be 6. And so that wouldn't work. So that is slick. Okay, that feels intentional to me. So if yellow sums to 13, there's no way to make this cage work. So therefore yellow doesn't sum to 13, yellow sums to 14. And if yellow sums to 14, I definitely know what this cage is. It's definitely 6, 8, which either way you want makes this 2, 7. Makes that a 2. Makes this not an 8, of course, so that is not a 4. Okay, 3-cell 14 cage. Let's go Gadget Magic Killer Calculator. 3-cell 14 cage with no 2. Let's see. There seem to be options, unfortunately. Lots of options. Okay. I will not attempt to force that. I don't think it's going to be productive. Oh, and no 3, actually. No 3 either is very relevant because no 3 because the sum is 14. What's the digit that's missing from the 12 cage, by the way? I should figure that out. So 3 times 12 is 36. So there's no 9 in blue. I guess that's not super exciting. I already knew that, I guess, actually. Okay, so there's a 14 cage. Okay, so this cage now needs a 1, if I'm reading this correctly. Because the only options seem to be, I don't know if you can quite see this on screen, the only options left are 149, 158, and 167. And I've used 6 and I've used 8, so it's not that one and it's not that one. So this has to be 149. And now that makes this the remaining digits. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Except that, what digit am I not using in yellow? Oh, well, I've already used 9 in yellow, sorry. Yellow sums to 14, so I'm not using a 3. So this should be 2, 5, 7. Which now means these are 2, 5, 7. Up here by our previous logic. So this is now a known triple. 3, 6, 8 is what these are. So these digits are a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4 and 9. Well, there's not a 9 here for sure because this is a 9 cage. So this is either a 5 or an 8 over here. Let's see. Green's sum is 15. So if this is a 9, these are a 1, 2, 3. Oh, the 9 is placed because of this 1, 4 pair. Yes, I should just look at the 1, 4 pair. Hey, Naverio, how are you doing? So that's the 1. That's the 1. These are a 2, 3. That's the 4. I knew that was the 1 because there's a 1, 4, 9 in this box already, so those couldn't be 1. So that's a 1 and an 8. So 1, that is not an 8. This is a great puzzle to start the day with, I have to say. Okay, so this is a 15 cage with no 1 and no 2. So let's see. It could be 3, 4, 8. It doesn't have a 7 in it either, actually. And so, it doesn't have a 3 either, actually. So this has got to be 4, 5, 6. There's the only option. Weird. I swear we proved earlier that 4, 5, 6 was broken, but apparently not. Nice snap Sudoku there, Kyle. I'm impressed. That's an 8 because we now have an 8 there. You did get your green 5, right? Okay. It is true that these are a 4-9 pair. There's an 8 up in one of these two cells. These are a 3-9 pair to finish the row. Let's see. Okay, so red has 2 things left, which are 3, 6, and 4, 5. I'm just scanning real quick to see if I know any of these aren't 3, 6. Well, I know this one's not 3, 6. So if this is red, it is 4, 5. 3, 6 would break this. So this is probably red, and it probably is 4, 5. These are a 5, 7 pair. Thank you, Casey. Yeah, I guess the question is, what else is this if it's not red? So it would be yellow or green, I guess, are both options. No, yellow is done. So this is red or green. So if it's red, it's 4, 5. And if it's green, it's 7, 8. So this is from 4, 5, 7, 8 for whatever it's worth. It could be blue. Never mind. Sorry, I'm being silly. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in just a moment, and we'll finish this up. This has been a very gorgeous puzzle so far. All right, welcome back. Let's see. Okay. So a good point here is that that I see from chat is that yes, this has a whole bunch of possibilities. It can be anything but yellow, so it can be red, blue, or green. If it's red, we know it's 4/5. If it's blue, we know it's If it's green, we know it's 7/8. And if it's yellow, not yellow. Good Lord. If it's the other one, if it's blue, then it's 4/8. So it actually always is from 4/5/7/8. Weirdly enough, even otherwise. And the same must be true here, right? This is also either 4/5 if it's red, or if it is blue, then it's 5/7. Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, that one can be 3/6. Why? What am I talking about? Sorry. I was forgetting. I was forgetting because I took a break that it wasn't that red only has a 4/5 domino left. It was because of this specific interaction that blue can only be 4/5. So yeah, so this can be 5/7, 4/5, or 3/6. All of those are possible. But this one is never 3 or 4 at the very least. And that one's never 5. Did I mark this wrong? 3, 6, 4, 5, 4, 8. I think was the combination. I said 5/7, but 5/7 was taken up here. This isn't 5 or 8. Okay. Anyway, this does not feel like the thing I'm supposed to be doing anyway. Let's see. I might as well fill in the rest of the digits here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know one of these two is a 6 for what it's worth. One is placed in box 2, good, which places the 8 in box 2. Places the 3 in box 2, places the 2 and the 3 over here. There we go. So this is now 5 or 6. So this can't be a 6 anymore because that adds to 11, and 11 is not an accepted total. So this is a 3, 4, and a 5, 6. So I think that's enough to tell me that this doesn't sum to 12, right? No combination of these digits sums to 12. So this isn't blue anymore. This is red, which means this is not red. Means that's not red. I removed the wrong color. Okay. So these are red and a blue or a green. There's a 1 here, points out Ron. So these are a triple of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are 2, 4, 5. So that's a 7 and that's a 5. So this is a triple of 3, 6, 9. And this is a triple of 2, 4, 7. If I did that right. Okay, Kyle is doing the math on what's left to put in things. And so we've got a 4, 5, and a 3, 6 to put in red. We have a 7-8 to put in green. And we have a 4-8 to put in blue. And so in particular, there's 2 8s. And so there has to be an 8 in here because I can't put all the 8s over here. And as soon as there is an 8 in here, I guess that tells me that, oh, I already knew this wasn't red. So this is either 8 and 4 or 8 and 7. There's no 5 in here. There definitely is an 8. But that also tells me that there's an 8 in this column. So that is a 6 and that's an 8. And yeah, I know Kyle. I know Kyle. I was just explaining it to the audience at home. And so I think the same thing is true of 4s because we need a 4-5. We need a 4-8. But the point is now, okay, so I was going to do the same thing with 4s, but there's an easier point, which is that now the 3-6 in red doesn't go here anymore. So now the 3-6 in red has to go over here. Okay, so now there's definitely a 4-5 in this column, which makes that a 2. That streamlines life considerably. This is not a 6. Okay, and so in this column, I either have a 4-8 or a 7-8, as well as a 4. Oh, no, I can't have a 4. Right, I can't have a 4-8 because I've got a 4-5 over here. So the 4-8 cage has to be this one, which is summing to 12. So that is green. Okay, and so, sorry, so that is blue, not green. So this is green. The one over here is green. Okay, and so these are 4, 5, and 7, 8 in some order. That's not 4, so that's not 5, that's not 3. So we've got all of that. So this column is only missing 1, 3, and 9. Well, the 1 goes at the bottom, and this is 3 or 9. That is not a 1, not a 1, please. Oops. Not a 1, thank you. So we've got all of that happening. Let's see, okay. I know there's a 2 down here somewhere, but I don't think that's really worth it. 4s look up from box 4 and 7. Okay, yeah, right. So that 4-8 and that 4-9 both rule 4 out of those in place of 4 there. I will agree with that statement. And so now we can sort of say, I don't know if it's yet time for me to be doing this kind of thing, but we can certainly mark 7 in one of those two. That this feels like maybe it's not time for this kind of mark. Actually, oh, sorry, no, that's not true. Could be a 2 down here. Never mind. Sorry, I was going to say something about 2s that was not correct. Row 6. There's a 5-7 pair here. Very nice. Okay, so that's huge. So Ron has spotted a very key point, which makes that 8 and 4. Sorry, not 8 and 4. Makes that 8 and 7, which makes this the green one, which makes this the red one. So these are 4, 5 now. That 7 places the 7, the 5, and the 2. Places the 6 and the 3 and the 2. Places the 7 and the 2, the 5 and the 7. The 9 and the 6 and the 3. The 8 over down here. The 7 over down here. The 7 up here. That's now a 2 by Sudoku, and I think we can mark the rest of the grid without much issue. So that is just a naked 9. None of these are 9 or 4 anymore. That's not a 9 anymore either. This is not a 4, a 5, or a 9, so that's a 6. These aren't, in fact, nothing in this box is 4 or 5. So that makes that one an 8. Let's remark. So that is a 3-9 pair in the column, so that makes that a 4, makes that a 9 and a 4, makes that a 1, makes that a 5 and a 4. Let's see. That is a 3, 6, 9 triple, so that makes that a 2 and a 7. Makes that a 3 and a 6 and a 3. Makes that a 9, a 6 and a 5, and a 3 and a 9, and a 3 and a 9 and a 2. 4, 1, 9. 8, 4, 5, 1, 6. 5, 8, 5, 4. Gorgeous puzzle there. I really liked that one. Let's see, and I can clear off all my pencil marks now. Very cool puzzle there, Jay. I like that one a lot. Yeah, definitely the kind of puzzle that gives me hope for the future of puzzles, because that was very cool. All right, I'm going to take a quick break, stretch a little bit, and I will be back in just a moment with more puzzle time. So see you all shortly. All right, welcome back. Let's have a look at this Tolcat projected sums puzzle. So projected sums are a Grockel's invention, I suppose, as far as I know. And so what that says is that the clues outside the grid give the sum of the yellow cells in their row or column. So for example, these 4 yellow cells, they add to 10. So they're 1, 2, 3, 4. These yellow cells add to 27, and so on. And then we also have our usual arrow rules. So the circle is the sum of the digits along the arrow. So that circle is the sum of those two. It's also independently the sum of those two. So anyway, so we get some low-hanging fruit here because, for example, this arrow can't sum to 1 or 2, and this arrow can't sum to 1 or 2. And so therefore these are a 1-2 pair, and there's definitely a 1 in each of these zones. This 27 is quite interesting, actually. because 7, 8, 9 is only 24. So that means these digits are from 6, 7, 8, 9. However, if I don't use a 9, the biggest I could do is 6, 7, 8 plus 4, which is only 25. It's not big enough. So I need to put a 9 somewhere in this column. And the only place it could possibly go is there. And so we get another 9 dance. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. And these numbers are quite large because 4 plus 9 is 13. So these need to sum to at least 14. So the smallest digit that could be involved, given that I can't use a 9 anymore, is actually a 6. So these are from 6, 7, 8. Now, 6 plus 7 plus 4 would be, that'd be enough. 6 plus 7 plus 4 is still not enough, right? I do need an 8 in one of these, right? That's what I'm trying to double check. Yeah, I do need the 8 because 6 plus 7 plus 4 is only 17. That would be 26. So I do need to use the 8, which means we get a sort of weird corner marked 9 in this row. Now, I might as well mark, I know that this now has to be a 1, 2, 3, and this has to be a 1, 2, 3 because of the way the arrows work. I certainly need a 1 in this row somewhere, and not there, because there's a 1 corner marked in the box in order to make that work. Right. One of these has to be a 1. Gorgeous. Okay, right. Thank you, Ambrose. One of these has to be a 1, because whichever of these is an 8, of course, it goes with a 1. I was saying there's a 9 corner marked into one of these two cells, but that actually works. And that 1 looks up and says that that digit is not a 1, so that digit is a 1. And now this digit is only a 2 or a 3, which, as Ron points out, gives us a 1, 2, 3 triple in the column, making this 9 arrow a 4, 5. So we get all of that. Okay. Okay, Sayori's pointing out 7, 8 is not a possibility here. Because if these are 7, 8, you end up with a problem that you see every once in a while, where if these are 7 and 8, it forces these to be 1 and 2. I think of this as usually a double arrow deduction, but strangely now it's in a single arrow puzzle. But if these are 7, 8, these are 1, 2, and that makes both of these 9, because the 8 goes with the 1, the 7 goes with the 2. So these can't actually be 7, 8. They actually have to be 6, 8. So if these are 6, 8, those two sum to 14, 23 plus 4. Makes that a 4 and that a 3. And so that makes these an 8, 9 pair if you look at it, because it's got to be a 1 and an 8 and a 2 and a 6. Going on there. Oh, that has also made that a 3, which has made these a 1 and a 2 as well, is interesting. And box 7. Yes. This 6, 8 pair tells me that's not an 8. Very nice. So that's the 9 and that's the 8, which tells me that's the 8 and the 1 and the 6 and the 2. Tall cat puzzles are usually fairly scary. I was trying to think of the most polite way possible to say that this is super smooth for a tall cat puzzle. Because this is not usually how tall cat puzzles go, so I'm assuming something horrible is going to happen any moment now. Let's see. Row 4, column 7. What about row 4, column 7? Josh says it's big. Right, because this number here. Oh, by the column sum, right, because these need to sum to something. So the absolute maximum these two can sum to is 9, plus 2 is 11. So this needs to be at least 5. So this is 5, 6, 7, or 8. Oh, actually, sorry, this is max 7. So we can actually do the math better than that because this number is not 8 or 9. So this is max 7. So this is actually max 9, these 3 cells. And if those are max 9, that means this cell is actually min 7, which means that this is always an 8 or a 9. It's probably a 9, but who knows? But now the absolute maximum these two can sum to is 10. So the minimum this can sum to is 6. So this is always 6 or 7. Those are the only options that remain. Let's see. Let's see if I've used that clue. I haven't used this one yet because this clue is telling me there's definitely a 1 in one of these spaces. But then there's a 1 and a 2, right? No, just a 1. I think a 1. Yeah, 1, 3, 4, 5 would do it. So just a 1. Yeah, I was looking at that, Ron. I guess it's worth marking. This is 2, 6 or 3, 5. I don't usually make these sorts of pencil marks, but it's possible that it's worth doing here. Let's see. Interestingly, if this is 3, 5, that cell's a 3 is the kind of deduction that Tallcat might use for something. Makes a pair in the row. I don't understand what you mean by makes a pair in the row. Oh, I see. Because these are 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is a 6 or 7. Okay, I understand what is meant by makes a pair in the row, right? If you just if you pencil mark it, then you get that sort of 6, 7 pair. Okay. This digit can't be 3, so it's at least 4. 5. It can't be 6. It could maybe be 7. Can't be 8 or 9. So this digit is a little bit restricted. At least. Oh, there's a 1, 2 pair in this row. I don't think I ever noticed that there was a 1, 2. Oh, I guess I should have known it from the beginning. I might as well fill these in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just so that just in case it ever becomes relevant. Might become relevant. I don't know what you can't have 6, 7 on, quote, the arrows means. There are a lot of arrows in the puzzle. Let's see. You're just saying that none of these cells can be 6, 7. Yeah, so all of these cells are actually a maximum of 5, right? So yeah, if I actually mark these, because these can't be 1, these are actually at most 5. And that means the digit that's missing from them is 2. Because these 5 these are 4 of the 5 digits from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so the ones I need to use need to be the ones that aren't 2. So that's a 5 and a 3. And then these aren't 5 and they're not 2. So they're from 1, 3, 4. Funnily enough, this can't be a 4 now, because if this is a 4, then the options for this would be 1 and 3, which are both taken. So that is a 1 or a 3, meaning the 4 is over here, which I can't imagine being useful. Right, so now the sum isn't 7, because if the sum was 7, one of these would be a 3, and there's a 3 down here. So this is a 6. That means that surely isn't a 3, so that's a 3, and these are a 2 and a 5. 7. This is a very nice puzzle as well. So this is certainly not 1. Oh, it's not 2 either, actually, because there's a 2, 5 pair in the row. So actually, this is 7 with a 4. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so these are 6 and 9, and I know the order. Okay, so I've got all of that. Okay, so these now do sum to 6. So these two sum to 10 now. And so the only way they can sum to 10 is as 8 and 2. So we get an 8 there, a 2 there, which makes that be 1 and 9. Makes that be 1. That's now a 2. No 9 there, no 8 there. And that 2 up there sorted out this 5 and 1 and this 2 and 4. Let's see. This is not a 5. So yeah, so this digit now sees 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's at least 5. So it's only 5, 6, or 7. But 6 doesn't actually work because a 6 would put an 8 there. So this is only 5 or 7, making this a 7 or a 9, and giving me a bizarre corner marked 7 that doesn't do anything. Let's see. So I think I've now used all the projected sums. 3 in box 2 is available, Kyle points out, like that. So one of these two is a 3. 9 in box 8 is there, has been pointed out. 2, 3. These are 4, 5. These are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not an 8. But that means that these aren't 8, which means that is. You're very welcome, Jay. It was gorgeous as a puzzle. 5, 6, 7, 9. I have been like, I keep getting beaten by Simon whenever you post a puzzle and I want to solve it, and then I check it and see, oh no, Simon just solved it. So I have a backlog of your puzzles that I want to solve after it's been enough time for Simon to have done them. This is a 4, I believe. Let's see. This is a 4, I believe, just by Sudoku. Let's see. Yeah, maybe don't know where the rest of the ones. This is a 2. Thank you, Ron. Just by Sudoku, so this is a 6 or a 7. Let's see. One of these two is a 9, I suppose. I don't know much about the 6. Let's see. It feels like if I mark now, I'm going to horribly regret it. Maybe not, actually. Actually, that mark looks quite promising because I see it immediately gets me a 1 and a 5 and a 1 and a 3 and a 2 and a 4 and a 5 and a 3 and a 7, a 5, and a 1. There was a naked single I had not seen that I think was the key to unraveling everything. There we go. I'm so much slower when I'm not on 2x speed that I'm maybe like half the speed than when I'm on 2x speed. But welcome, Matt Laffey. I hope you're doing well. 4, 8, 7, 9, 6, 5, 8, 4, 6, 4, 5. Very lovely, Tall Cat. I would like more Tall Cat puzzles of this variety because that was very cool. Yeah, all very very smooth there, except the I had to just have the faith that I either needed to hit the mark button or just dig for a naked single, because that sort of like once you found the naked single 1 here, then everything else sort of fell into place. It's interesting. I don't usually see Tall Cat puzzles resolve with naked singles because Tall Cat, as a matter of style, doesn't use pencil marks very much when setting. So usually that kind of deduction doesn't show up in Tall Cat puzzles. I think regular speed Naverio is probably like 4 times zetamath speed. Naverio solves most of my puzzles in under 15 minutes. Alrighty, I am going to take a quick break, and I'll be back in just a moment with more puzzles. So, see you in just a moment. welcome back. For those of you who do not know, Chacona and Country Road are the Renbon and black dots of pencil puzzles. So when I saw that there was a Math Pesto Chacona Country Road puzzle, I had to go for it. So I will admit I have not thought about Chacona in a bit, although my one Chacona puzzle I've published might be my favorite puzzle I've ever published. That's Miami. But I assuredly intend to do more with Chacona in the future at some point. All right, so let's read the rules, because I have not read the rules yet to see how these things are linked. So I need to draw a non-intersecting loop through the centers of some cells, which passes through each region exactly once. So we've got the regions here sort of already built out. Any pair of orthogonally adjacent cells across a region border must have at least one cell visited by the loop. So the way that this usually works is that you sort of draw the loop. And then when, say, the loop now has visited this region, so now you can mark off the loop, therefore, has not visited any of these cells. And so, therefore, every cell across from those instantly must be visited, because basically what this Country Road rule is saying is as soon as you have not visited a cell in a region, you must visit the ones across, which is a weird rule that works really well in practice, but takes a while to wrap your brain around. But you can see how that would sort of have a lot of immediate consequences just from doing that. Okay, so that is the Country Road piece. We also must shade some cells so that each block of orthogonally connected shaded cells forms a rectangle. A square is a rectangle. And a given clue represents the number of loop cells or the number of shaded cells in that region. And a question mark means that the two have the same value. Interesting. Okay. That's only half of the usual Chacona rules, right? Because Chacona, usually you also specifically need the unshaded blocks of cells to form not a rectangle. And I don't think the rules here say that, and I don't think it's implied, right? Unless I misremember something. But oh, that's Choco Banana. Okay, sorry, that's an adjacent thing. But yeah, so okay. So let us have a look at where we're going to start. So this one is interesting. So for example, this one tells me there's only one cell visited, right? If there's one number, it's both, right? Let me double check. Or possibly both. Okay, so sorry, this one doesn't mean both. Sorry, I believed this one meant both, but it's not both. If this one is a Country Road cell, that cell's unvisited. That I can tell you. But anyway, the 0 at the bottom is nice, because the 0 at the bottom can't be Country Road, because in Country Road, the loop has to visit every region exactly once. So, in fact, all of these are unshaded. Let's see. Okay, so we have that. So there's a 4 and there's a 9 is interesting. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but not impossible to shade 7 of these cells, I think. Okay, these are either both shaded and both visited, or one is shaded and one is visited. Let's see. Well, this is certainly visited by the loop. I can mark that because it's a one-cell region. I don't know how useful that is going to be, but it is true. Let's see. Do we have any of the, like... there's this typical arrangement at the edge of a Country Road puzzle that you often see. but I don't see it here. There's another one cell region in the middle of the far right column. Aha, there we go. Aha, and that's actually useful because this can't go in both directions. Like this can't do this. This is what I call the 2 of 3 rule in pencil puzzles. I can add row column labels. If you have something that only can connect in 3 directions in a loop puzzle, you should always ask yourself if there's a forbidden pair. And so in this case, there's definitely a forbidden pair. And as soon as there's a forbidden pair, that means you must use the other one. So we actually have our first bit of loop here coming in to my region that is numbered an 8. And I know, I guess these can all be visited. If they're all visited, then they're all shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Aha! It looked to me like it wasn't even worth counting, but it is in fact worth counting. Ambrose is correct that this loop can't now take 8 cells inside of here because it can never take that cell without taking like only 3 cells. So now there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total cells that it could plausibly take, but it can't take all of them no matter how you want to do it. You can checkerboard shade it to prove that if you really want to prove that this can't take 8 cells, but you can just sort of examine that there's no combination of 8 cells that will work. So this 8 is definitely a Shakona clue. So there's 8 shaded cells and 1 unshaded cell in here. I'm going to pull up my text thing and write a C over the top of this 8 just to indicate to myself that it is a Shakona clue. And so there's only 1 unshaded. No, there's 2 unshaded cells in here, right? 5. This is 9. So there's 2 unshaded cells. They don't have to be part of the same shaded region. C for Shakona, right? So like I can't include these cells without including that one, for example. I'm trying to prove that this cell's always shaded because I think this cell's always shaded. But I'm not 100% sure that I can. Oh, it's only 1 unshaded cell. Sorry, it's 1 unshaded cell. Sorry, I miscounted. Okay, right. It's 1 unshaded cell. So that one's certainly not the 1 unshaded cell because if it was, that wouldn't be a rectangle. This one's not the unshaded cell because if it was, that wouldn't be a rectangle. Now neither of these can be the unshaded cell because if they are, the other would certainly make it not a rectangle. Let's see. That one can be. That one can be. This one can't be unshaded for the similar reason I'd have my sort of rectangle here. This one can't be unshaded. Oh, no, sorry. This one could be unshaded. Sorry. Let's see. That's a good point from Garion. Garion has a really smart country road point, which is that if the loop goes up from here, it breaks. Because if the loop goes up from here, this cell's unvisited. So this cell is visited, but the only way to keep going from this cell would be to re-enter the 8 region, which you're definitely not allowed to do. So this certainly turns that way from there. Let's see. Right, right. If this is unshaded, it forces this to be shaded and this to be shaded, which then sort of puts this in the convex hole or whatever you want to call it of the thing. Right. Okay, so that is definitely shaded. So one of these two, at least, is definitely shaded. Let's see. If this is unshaded, then we definitely get all of that stuff. Row 6, column 13. Right. This cell just can't be visited at all is a good point. Right. So yeah, so thinking about this cell is a good idea. So this cell, if this is visited, wait, is that true? Oh, if this is unvisited, right. So this is unvisited. Sorry, if this is unvisited, then both of these need to be visited, but you can't because in the process of visiting this, you preclude visiting that. So this definitely is visited. And it can't go from there. It must go up because its three neighbors. You can't take any two of these three. This is a fancier version of the 2 of 3 rule. And now, actually, I know that in order to get here, I definitely get here from the 8 region. So I can put lots of border X's along the 8 region. The 8 region never connects to any other region because I know that one of the piercings of the 8 is here, and the other piercing of the 8 is into this, or is to this region. Which I guess also precludes crossings that don't involve this. Even those can't be crossings. And now, for example, that tells me this definitely isn't visited. Because if I visit that, I'm definitely not doing the thing that I want. I can visit those still and sort of come back like that. That's all okay. Let's see. Right. This cell is now a dead end, so this cell is definitely unvisited. Yeah, the 3 cells around the 8 have to be visited. Now this is a corner, so that's good because it actually forces that. And so now these are both unvisited. So these are both visited. And this is visited, which actually forces that. So all of these are unvisited. And the 4 now is definitely a Shakona clue, not a country road clue. So C for Shakona. And so I can fill in lots more circles, like there. Now, in this 3, because those have to be visited, there's only one way it can work, which is for it to do that. So these are now unvisited. So we get to visit some of these. Now, this 3-4 clue tells me the road doesn't leave immediately, because if the road left immediately, that would not be 3 or 4. So this has to come up at least. So we've got all of that. Let's see. This is a loop corner. That's a good point, right? Because this can't go this can only go two directions. The golden rule of loop. And actually, that being a loop corner actually sort of forces a lot of this path if we pay attention. In fact, forces all of that. This is also a loop corner, actually. Forces all of that. This is now at a corner. Okay, and so now this loop is either going to be 3 or 5. And it's not going to be 5 because that's not one of the options. So it is 3. And so the 3 is the country road clue, and the 4 is the Chacona clue. So we're shading 4 of these cells. And so there's lots of things I can do, like these. It can't be those 4 that are shaded. So therefore, this one's always shaded. It can't be these 4 that are shaded. So therefore, that one's always shaded. Can't be these 4 that are shaded, so therefore that one's always shaded. And it can't be these 4 that are shaded, so that one's always shaded. And this one's always unshaded, which means that one's always unshaded as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This 5 is also a Chacona clue because there's more than 5 country road things happening. Oops. Like that. This 3 is also a country road clue, actually. Sorry, a Chacona clue is what I meant to say. These are either both in or both out. If they're both out, I can't get to 5, right? So this 5 is a Chacona clue. If these are both out, they'd both be green. That doesn't leave enough gray cells. So that has to be in. That's out. And now actually all of these are in order to get to 5, which actually forces that that's in, which forces that all of that is green. So we've got some Chacona stuff happening. Now this has to extend further because I know there's at least 3 country road cells in this region. And so if I make these both green, I need to put at least 3 shaded cells in the region. It would be those 3. That's not a rectangle. So this continues again in its relentless march forward. Like that. I guess I can remove the X's for unvisited if I've put in the O's that match them. Maybe, possibly. Like those I don't need. And I certainly can remove the circles as soon as I've put the path on it, just because it's going to get really messy really fast, is I guess the point. Because there's so many things going on at once. Okay. Assuredly, this loop needs to go vertically through these 3. There's no way around that. Assuredly, this loop at least connects these 2. No way around that. We're now optimizing for removing pencil marks from things, which is a sort of funny thing to optimize for. But what are you going to do? I can remove that X. This circle here, it can't connect twice into the 2 regions, so it has to connect that way for sure. And I can get rid of those X's. I don't think I need an X to say you can't revisit this region anymore. Okay. This cell's now unvisited, though, so I can say those are all visited. Okay, I don't think these can connect over. I think if this is now shaded, I think I'm going to break. No, I'm not going to break the 4. That would actually work beautifully for the 4. That would all be okay. Oh, no, that doesn't work. For a very complicated reason. So imagine that this cell is shaded. I'll do this in the bifurcation palette. if this cell is shaded, now that cell's certainly shaded. And now how is the 4 going to work? Well, these are either all going to be shaded or all going to be unshaded. Well, they're all assuredly going to have to be shaded, which is also going to shade that cell. Well, now how is this 3 going to work? And the answer is it doesn't, because these are either all shaded or all unshaded, and both of those are broken. So this is not shaded, and that's shaded. That's shaded. This is now unshaded because of the joining of those things. Oh, and I broke that being shaded, so actually that shades that, which unshades that. And now the 4 still needs some shading, so those are both shaded. If this is shaded, it unshades both of those, and that breaks, so this needs to be unshaded. And now these are both in or they're both out. And if they're both out, the 3 breaks, so they're both in, but now the 3 is done, so that's out, which now means that's out. I am slowly recalling some of my Shikona pattern recognition. Okay. Right. This needs to finish with a shaded. Good. Because this needs at least 3 shaded cells, so it needs 3 shaded cells. And so it now needs, both ends need to leave. All of these are unvisited, so all of these are visited. It's a straight line like that through those because of the no repeat visits rule. This is unvisited, which then forces this to connect up at the very least. Okay. There is no way there are 3... oh, no, there is a way that there's 3 shaded cells in here. It would look like that. Bum, bum, ba, bum. Oh, I know this goes left, though. That part I know. Because it needs to get out, and it can't go back into a region that's already been visited. If these connect, I end up with an L there that looks suspicious, but I don't think it's immediately broken. Let's see. Okay, so we need at least 2 shaded cells in this little thing down here. If this goes down, that cannot happen. This rectangle can't extend down, because if this extends down... oh, no, sorry. It's at least 2. If this extends down once, it extends down again. That's actually the correct thing to say. If this is shaded, these are both unshaded. Can't quite see that. Row 5, 6, 7 of column 10 can't be shaded. Right. Sorry, yeah, that shaded cell was huge, Kyle catches. So it means these are all unshaded, which now means that this 3 is not a Shikona clue. This 3 is a country road clue, which means that we have to immediately exit, and the only way we can exit is that way. From this, and that means that all of these are visitable. Of course, that one's visited. It's already got a loop cell in it. So we've got that and that. Okay, so this region is getting quite interesting. So I know where one piercing of this region is. Because it's across from this cell, Kyle, and this cell's unvisited. Let's see. But yeah, we've got to visit both of these within this region, which means we're going to visit at least 5 cells within this region, for sure. This is a corner now, so this turns down. That's something. Uh, if this connects over, that breaks. Because if this connects over, that means I need to shade 2 cells in this S, and that doesn't work. Because if this connects over, then I have to either bring this down, which doesn't work because it immediately greens all 3 of those, or I have to not bring that down. Oh no, maybe that does actually work. Because that would green that, but I could gray both of those. Never mind. I can think of a pattern that does work. Uh, uh, Oh, yeah, the opposite is way worse immediately, as Josh says, because the only other option is that we take all 4 cells, and that just immediately breaks because you certainly can't shade everything. So actually, this is forced, and it actually forces the thing that I just said, which is that this can't come down. So that's therefore green. And we get that. And I guess I could technically maybe possibly shade this cell and shade one of those 2 and have some 1x1 squares, for example. I think would be acceptable, possibly. Let's see. So this is a 2 or a 3. So there's either 2 or 3 shaded cell. Okay, that's cute. There can't be 3 shaded cells in a 2x2 rectangle. That is not a valid option. So this never exits through that side or that side because it would have to take 3. It can't take 3. It either takes 2 or it takes 4. So there's a border here across both of those. Yeah, the 1 cell rectangles are definitely the shame-aminos of Shakonas, the shame-konas. I don't actually is the word Shakona like some language for rectangle? I don't actually know where the word Shakona comes from. Let's see. Okay. Also, I'm gonna say I'm pretty terrified because this puzzle is listed as 5 stars, and so far it has been solidly 2 stars, which means something horrible is coming. As is usually the case in these sorts of puzzles. Like I fear this was going to result in me having to count something, but I don't think I can have to count something in any of these genres. Shakona is Spanish for disagreeable person. Interesting choice of genre name. Hey, ELSF. Okay. Okay. Right. These cells are unvisited no matter what, is what Garion has been trying to tell me for a while. So that means these are both visited. And in fact, that actually forces a corner here. And now this can't go down because if it does, I'm entering this region twice. Still can't go down there. So we have that at the very least. Okay. Oh, this cell's visited because of that X. Yes, thank you. And so therefore that forces all of uh-oh. Sorry, it's not visited that way. by making the mistake, I see what has to happen. That doesn't work. This can't be visited from below. It has to be visited from above. A little happy little accidental bifurcation, as Ranks would say. So this 2 is a Shakona clue. So these are either both shaded or both unshaded, and therefore these are either both shaded or both unshaded. So this is always unshaded? You're kidding me. So if these 2 are both shaded, then that's unshaded and that's unshaded. If these 2 are unshaded, then these 2 are both shaded and that's still unshaded. So this is always unshaded. And now I know which 2 cells are shaded in this region. It's those 2. Now, if these 2 aren't shaded, then these 3 are shaded. Which is interesting. If these 2 are shaded, then who knows? Because it's possible everything is shaded in here, right? I don't think a priori there's any reason why this whole giant thing isn't shaded. At least as far as I can currently determine it. Oh, right. This road no longer has anywhere to go, Ambrose points out, because I've blocked off above and below it. Vish also points this out. Okay, and so now that observation is made, now this can't not extend down, because these 2 are either both shaded or both unshaded, and if they're both unshaded, this breaks. So that goes down. Oh, sorry, it wasn't Ambrose. It was Vish and Ron. Okay, so we get that part. Okay. If these 2 are unshaded, it forces these 2 to also be unshaded, and now I can't fulfill the clue for this. So in fact, those 2 are shaded, these 2 are unshaded, and that does force that, like that. Okay, and so now these are either both shaded or both unshaded, and if they're both unshaded, it breaks the clue, so they're both shaded. And then I filled in the opposite and then got very confused. What did I say? They're both shaded or they're both unshaded. And if they're both unshaded, it's broken immediately. So they're both shaded, right? Because, are you asking why I shaded this? I think everything I said was right. Is there some step still that you're unhappy about? Because these are shaded because otherwise this won't be a rectangle. So remember, these are either both shaded or both unshaded. If these are both unshaded, then these are both unshaded, and this clue is broken because it needs at least 4 shaded cells. If row 9 is unshaded, that forces these to be unshaded. No, Vish doesn't agree with me. Vish has seen a possibility that I missed, which is this possibility. Vish has noted that those 2 don't go together. Okay, so I agree with Vish. There's a secret bonus possibility that I had missed. I do agree about that. Okay. Good catch. Good catch. Okay. Uh, row 11, column 13. Okay, so there's a tricky loop thing going on down here at the bottom, where I know this region connects to that region and that region, and therefore these two regions can't connect to each other, because that would make a little loop. And this region already connects to this region. And so Garian's point is, therefore, this cell is unvisited, and therefore all of these cells are visited, and therefore this goes down, which actually forces me to shade the entirety of this, which forces me to shade the entirety of that and that, which then does that. I like that step. I've used that step in a lot of my loop-related puzzles. And this is a corner now, by the way, because of that that whole thing. Now, these are either both shaded or both unshaded. They have to both be shaded. So, in fact, all of that is shaded, which means this comes down like that. Now, this shading cannot continue down because there is an unvisited cell in this region. So there has to be a green cell, which means, in fact, that all of these are now green. So we are visiting a total of exactly 3 cells in this region. So we have to do this and that, or this and this and that, one of those. Oh, right. These can't connect because of the same reason we were just saying, because we know we'd go from here to here to here to here to here, and we'd have a loop that only hit 3 things. So these don't connect is a good point. So this is a corner, so it goes there. And now this region can't exit into that region, or we'd again have a mini loop. Like that. This is a corner. So we know we've got that. Okay, so this can't go up, assuredly. Oh, right. Okay, so this has to go down, is the point. Because if this crosses... Sorry, no, it can't go down. Did I break the puzzle? I think I broke the puzzle. Because this definitely connects either there or there. Aren't both of those broken? Well, it definitely can't connect down. Is this not broken? Maybe this isn't broken, actually. I think this isn't broken as long as I'm very careful not to continue to connect these things. Okay, yeah. I just have to be very careful not to create a too small of a loop. So this definitely continues over here. Also, because this region is definitely connecting... Oh, well, sorry. I should just do it this way. This region is unpierceable now. Oops. Sorry, I hit the wrong button there. Because we've got both piercings of this region. And so that's unvisited. So now that, and that are all visited, which means this is a corner. Oops. And that's a corner by our previous observation. We can't make a mini loop. So this can't go up for sure. This is unvisited, actually. So that's visited and that's visited. And if this is visited, it's a corner. Well, if this is visited... okay, maybe maybe I'm not quite prepared to say what that being visited means yet. let's see. This 4 and 9 is going to be silly. Okay. This 7, this part of the 7 definitely connects into this region. Is it possible it goes there and bounces up like that? Maybe. Uh, uh, yeah, I agree that there's sort of two cases for this, and by uniqueness, we know which one it has to be, I think. But we can go do this argument now of that this has to come down here. And now we know that there's an even number of cells taken in this region, because this is Kyle's point, because either we connect here or we sort of bounce back and forth. But this is the checkerboarding argument that I mentioned earlier. When you know the start and end of the loop, you know the parity of the loop length. And so it has to be 4 long, and there's only one 4 long loop that we could possibly do, which is that one. Which means that, as stated, by uniqueness, we knew that the loop had to do this. The reason why I knew that by uniqueness is that there's no way the loop could possibly... If the loop was allowed to do this, there's no way in the puzzle to say the loop doesn't do this. So you instantly knew, and I was just trying... The reason I wasn't looking at this was I was trying to avoid using uniqueness, and I figured it would just sort of fall out of all of this, which it eventually did. So those are unvisited, and therefore all of those are visited. This is certainly a corner. And this is also a corner. And so those have to connect over like that. So the 3 is a Shakona clue. Yeah, and the 9 is, of course, the 9 is the Shakona clue. I'll put a C over the top of this. C down there. Okay, so we can get rid of the loop end there. I have a feeling the 9 is forced to be a 3x3, but I was going to look at something else first, just to see if there is lower hanging fruit than that. There may not be lower hanging fruit. I may get there. Like, I kind of want to just argue there's never 8 shaded cells in this region, but maybe that is not the easiest thing. Yeah, so the way to think about it is this is 11 cells. I need to have 2 of them be unshaded. And the claim is the only way for 2 of them to be unshaded and be left with a rectangle is for the 2 unshaded ones to be these 2. And keeping in mind, this cell could be shaded or unshaded, but there's no way, for example, to unshade. I don't think there's any other way to do this. I'm trying to think of... There's some elegant way to say this. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. But I do think it has to be the 3x3. Right. Okay, here's the elegant way to do it. One of these 3 columns, that one, or that one, is entirely in. And now at least one, whichever one of them it is, if you look at the column that's next to it, at least one cell in that column is in. Therefore, all of them in that column are in. But now look at the column next to that one, and the same argument is true, and that forces that these are always shaded. There you go. There's your pigeonhole principle argument of the day. And so these are all shaded to make the 3 go. I knew there was a nice way to say it. It just took me a minute to figure out what it was. Okay. Well, this 3-4 clue assuredly tells me that this goes up here. And these shaded cells assuredly continue left, because if they don't, then that's 3 unshaded cells, and I can't make this 3-4 clue work. But they can't continue left again, because then that would make it a 5. So we'll continue our greening. And so the country road clue is actually the one that's the 4. So we always exit from that cell and not from either of these cells. So we can do that, because I will not be visiting 4 cells if I exit from there or exit from there. So now we actually know where it exits to as well, which is that it exits to this cell. Because of the assorted X's that I have penciled everywhere in the universe. Now, this region is now interesting. Because this region now only borders 2 regions that it could possibly visit, because this region is done. It's been pierced here and here. So this region needs to connect to 2 regions. It needs to be this one and this one. And so there needs to be some combination of this going to here and some combination of this going to there. So if this cell's the whole punchline of this is, if this cell's unvisited, the puzzle's broken. Because if this cell's unvisited, now this cell is visited. And now what the hell is happening, given what I just said about the connectivity, which is that it would have to come over here and then come over here and then somehow loop off the grid and back into here. And while country road puzzle where the loop leaves the grid sounds like something Mathpesto would make, that's not this puzzle, at least. So this now has to be visited, which means that these are both shaded. And now this is assuredly unvisited, by the way, because if this was visited, well, then I would be crashing off into disaster. So that's unvisited, and this is visited, which actually resolves how the country road looks over here and actually forces that pattern like that. So we've got that going on. And now now we look at this region and say, if these two are both shaded or both unshaded. If they're both unshaded, then this is also unshaded, and I can't get to 2. So these are actually both shaded. And now these are both unshaded. Again, this is because of the 2-3 clue. And so the answer is that we're in fact visiting 3 cells in here. So I can't go that way. If I go this way, I now, because I have to connect to this region, I can now only possibly visit 2 cells. So I have to go down here, over here, and I haven't visited 3 cells yet, so I have to go like that in order to make that happen, which means this has to come up here, and it has to bounce off like that. So so is that 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? No, it is not. So therefore, this is a Shakona clue. Oops, I did not mean to do whatever I just did. Okay, and so now I need to do my, this is unvisited, so this is visited business. So we get to R0. This is unvisited, so both of these are visited. And now if I sort of connect these, I know at least that much is forced. And in fact, this 7 now actually has to connect up. It now has nowhere else that it can go. I didn't cheat there, did I? Those are visited. Right. So just by the fact that these have to be visited within this region, that forces that. And now that says this 7 can't connect over here, so it connects up. Okay, that was, I think that was correct. Okay, so we've got all of that happening. Uh, I mean, the given eight's just forced to be a country road clue now, right? It's not that it's not. It is a country road clue, Eckbert, because this loop is just forced to do that. So the given 8 is a country road clue. Uh, oh no, that's a 9. Sorry, that's a 9. That is not 8. It's 9 because of that cell. Sneaky bugger. I've this whole time been thinking we were eventually going to prove that the loop did this, and therefore the 8 was a country road clue. But that is not the case because that's actually 9. I just can't count. There's the 5-star step, is counting that this is 9 and not 8. We have found the 5-star part of the puzzle. Now this is a corner. And so that has to do that. Okay, so we can get rid of that and that and that. We can get rid of that. At the very least, I think I'm comfortable getting rid of all of these and that and that and that and that and that and that. Okay, I think all of those I am happy to get rid of. So now we need to shade 8 cells in here. And so if these are unshaded, then I get a maximum of 7. So these are all shaded. If I make these unshaded, then I get a maximum of 7. So these are all shaded. So we can extend our green over there. Like that. And now I need to shade either this or that. One of them needs to be shaded. Okay. Let's see. This doesn't quite have the same mini loop avoidance potential as the other one until we get a little bit further into it. If this goes this way, this entire region is going to be shaded, and I don't like the look of that. Okay, this needs to be a 7, and how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10, so there's 3 unshaded cells in here. For whatever that is worth. Let's see. Still need to get up here. We can't visit every cell in here, but we're never going to visit every cell, but we can visit almost every cell for what it's worth. Okay. Okay, several people in chat are telling me if I don't shade this cell, it breaks the 7 region. So if I leave this unshaded, these are all unshaded, and this is shaded and that's shaded, which is now assuredly going to make these 3 be shaded, and yeah, that's not going to get me there. That's only going to get me to is only going to get me to 4 shaded cells, actually. Yeah, so if I leave this unshaded, it's a little tricky, but if I unshade this, I can just draw it in if you want to see it. If I unshade this, then I, in effect, also unshade both of these in my 7 region. So now my 7 region only has... Oh, by the way, I also shade this because of the 8 clue, which also shades this. And now I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cells left. So I have to shade these. But now I unshade these and that. And now it's very broken because I have at most 5 cells that I can shade. Okay, so therefore, this is actually shaded, which shades both of these, unshades this, unshades that. So we have all of that happening. So we could, for example, shade those and those, and that would work out fine. Sorry, I'm visualizing what this cell is going to look like in a few instances, but it didn't quite do anything for me. Oh, this cell's definitely unshaded. Okay, so now that cell being unshaded, that actually is going to resolve this region because there have to be 2 cells now that are not visited by the loop. And if the loop comes left now, that doesn't work. Because if the loop comes left now, it has to go through all of those, and now there aren't 2 cells unvisited by the loop. So now the loop has to go up. And again, the loop can't go left because if the loop goes left, that will again not work. So this loop goes up. Now it can go left from here. That's okay. But we have to at least get to there. And now we need to shade 5 or more cells within this region. Can we possibly shade 6 cells in this region? No, I cannot possibly shade 6 cells in this region because that would be shading all of these. So I actually can't visit this cell anymore. All of these need to be unvisited, which means this actually needs to come up here. Oh yeah, there's some connectedness stuff to contemplate over there. I'll contemplate that in a moment, but I will look at these and draw the line through those. Okay, well, this assuredly can't come left, because if this comes left, I definitely create a mini loop. In fact, the loop would only go through 3 regions. So that I can't create a mini loop. So I have to go up. So there's my first thing. And so now this is a corner. Oh, right. Sorry. I know all of these are in, but it doesn't have to be straight. It could zigzag. You're correct. Oh, and this is one of my favorite country road patterns. You can't connect these 2 because if you connect these 2, you instantly create two X's across from each other. So we have to do that. This is now at a corner. It has to do that. Okay. We can do some more people in chat are pointing out with the shading in this region. Because there's only one more unshaded cell, and it, for example, can't be this one because it would create an S that would need to be completed. It can't be this one because it would create a P pentamino. It can't be this one because it would create an F pentamino. It can't be this one because it would create a P pentamino. And now just because of that, that's shaded. And so that is in fact unshaded. And so that is shaded. we get all of that sort of falling into place. Right. Okay. So this this is a Shakona clue. Chat is pointing out to me. And so, again, these two always go together. That's usually the way Shakona reasoning works, is groups of cells are either both shaded or both unshaded. If these are both unshaded, I can't get to 3. So they're both shaded. That makes that unshaded, which actually makes that shaded, which then forces this rectangle to end here. Like that. Okay, so now this assuredly needs 2 cells shaded because it's going to need at least 2 loop cells. So those are both going to be shaded, which is going to make that unshaded. And now this can't go down because I only get 2. And so it has to go over, and it has to go over again. Otherwise, it does not work. And so now both of these have to be visited because there is an X here in effect. I'll just go ahead and put in the X. It'll make this easier. So this assuredly has to go down. It has to keep going down like that. And now this cannot pierce this region because if so, I create a little loop. So I have to close that, which makes that into a corner like that. This is now unvisitable. So all of these are visited. Oops, are visited. Now this is a corner. And so we do that. And now that extends over here because I can't create a loop. I definitely close the loop if I connect over here, so I don't do that thing I just said. We can clean up all of those. So the 1 is definitely a Shakona clue, of course. The 5 is also a Shakona clue, of course. This is a corner because it can't cross into here, can't cross into there, so we can fill that in. Okay. Do I know that not all of this is shaded yet? I don't think I yet know that not all of this is shaded. Let's see. But that gave us a whole lot of stuff. Okay. This line now is forced, I think, because I can't shade... I can't shade this entire region, for example. If I shade this entire region, I've definitely broken the Shakona. And so if I don't connect these straight up, then I'm going to end up visiting a minimum of 5 cells, and there just aren't 5 cells that I can shade within this region without breaking the Shakona. Because if I'm going to get to 5, I'd need that square, and there's nothing else I can add. So it was not justified before, but it was correct to do that. Now, I don't actually even think it's possible to shade 4 cells in this region. It's definitely not possible to shade 5, but I'm not even sure 4 is actually possible. If I... Oh, 4 is possible if I do that. 4 is possible if I do that. Got it. The 2x2 square, right? I was trying to prove something that is actually very possible. Right. We know it's 4, actually, because this is at a corner. So we actually know it's 4. Because we proved it can't be 5. And so that actually forces that this marches leftward like that in order to make that all work out. Okay, good. Right. This now can only connect up. This now is a corner. Has to connect down. Has to connect over. And I can't use any more borders along this thing, so we can O in all of those things. This is a corner, so we have to take the corner. Okay, well, the 3 certainly isn't the country road, so the 6 is the country road. This is on the loop, so it has to look like that, and so I don't get any more cells. So those aren't on the country road. So we get all of that for free. Or for relatively little, at the very least. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so Vish says, look at what happens if this rectangle does not come left. So then we would green both of these right away. And so we'd be at 1, 2, 3, 4. We'd need 3 more cells. Why couldn't I shade those? Oh, I just counted the region border wrong. Right. If it doesn't come left, those are unshaded. And so now I need 5 more shaded. It would have to be all of them, and that definitely doesn't work. Okay, so this definitely comes left. Okay, got it. I was just counting. I threw in 2 extras, and I was like, no, it definitely works. Okay. And now if these don't come left, I need all of the remaining 3, and that doesn't work either. So these come left, which greens both of those, and now actually forces that to be gray in order to get my remaining one, which makes all of that gray. Oh, and this I know can't connect down, because if it connects down, then I don't grab that cell. So this is now a corner. And now this nabs that too, because of connectedness stuff. And so that is also a Shakona clue. Oops. This comes this way. It's still the case that everything here is shaded, but that still seems possible. As best I can tell. Let's see. Okay, I know that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shaded cells in this region, for what it is worth. So that means there's 2 unshaded cells in the region. I don't think that's quite enough for me to do anything yet. This is a corner, AFK points out. I believe that. Let's see. Okay. And so the point is, this definitely can't connect into this at all. Because if this region connects to this region, we've created a loop again, because we already know this connects to this, connects to this, connects to this. And so, in fact, that actually forces this to come all the way over here to get out, which forces that. Which is handy. And now this can't turn left, because if it does, it's forced to exit into this region. And that creates a mini loop again. So we can actually say, no, it exits there. Which X's both of these, which O's both of these, which creates a corner and does that. Okay, and now this region is entirely loop, so it's entirely shaded. And if that's entirely shaded, then of course these two are shaded. And now these three are either all shaded or all unshaded, but this 3 is a Shikona clue, so if they're all unshaded, it breaks instantly. That means these are unshaded, which means that that's unshaded. We can clean up our X's around here, I believe. We can clean up that O. Probably don't need that border X anymore, or the helper X, as Penpa likes to call it. Okay, we know there are a total of 3 shaded cells in here. That doesn't seem super useful yet. We know there are 2 shaded cells in here. That doesn't seem helpful yet. Let's see. Okay, Kale is pointing out if these are either both gray or both not gray. If they're both green, then I need to gray 5 of these cells out of the 6. And that's not going to work, because you can never gray 3 cells in here. So I would have to gray 4 cells in here, which would force all of that to be shaded, but then I couldn't shade the last one. Yeah, so that's, at least for me, that's a little more of a look ahead than I super like, but it's not too bad. It definitely needs to extend in that fashion. If this doesn't go up, then I need to shade those, but that's probably okay. That's a good way to think about it, Kyle. These are either both in or both out. If they're both in, then these are both out, and that's in. If these are both out, then everything else is in. So this is always in, is Kyle's point, in order to make this total of 5. That is a cute use of parity. Okay. And there's a 1 clue, so that cell is shaded. If this 4 is a Shikona clue, the only way it works is for that square to be shaded. But I don't know that there's a problem I immediately see with that. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's a good point. Josh's point can be phrased as, these two aren't both shaded. Because if these two are both shaded, I definitely make this piece of chocolate not rectangular, so therefore this is always shaded. Uh, yeah, these aren't both shaded. Uh, okay. So we can do some math on this one because there's two unshaded cells in here. These can't both be shaded or it breaks Shakona, and these two can't both be shaded or it breaks Shakona. And so, therefore, one of each of these is unshaded, and therefore all of the rest of these are shaded. And therefore, this one's definitely unshaded, and therefore that one's shaded. That makes these all unshaded. It makes that unshaded, which then makes that shaded in order to make that work, because I only got two unshaded cells, which shades all of that, unshades all of that, unshades all of that. And now I need to shade three cells. There's no way I don't shade that one, which unshades that one, which then shades both of those. So we've got our 3-6 clue handled up there. Oh, now the 2 is done because there are only 2 cells left. And so therefore this is unshaded, which unshades both of these. Let's see. Funnily enough, this cell's always visited because country road things. Because either I go left or I go down, and regardless of which one I do, one of the cells next to this is unoccupied. So this is always visited regardless. Oh, yeah, these two are both unshaded. I agree because of the that greening. I was trying to figure out what I could do with this. There are at least 4 shaded cells in this region. No, sorry, there are at least 5 shaded cells in this region, and so therefore those 2 are shaded. And therefore there's only 5 shaded cells, and therefore this has to go down and down, because the country road clue is also 5, so we get that all done. So therefore all of these are visited. This assuredly has to go down, because I can't leave the region without visiting those. This is a corner, actually, because it can't go up into that region. And now this only finishes in one way, which is that way. Now, this region, we know the 2 regions it enters. This region enters that and that. So, therefore, these 2 never connect. So we have that, at least. Okay, then from here. It's always... Oh, unless this goes straight up. No, this can't go straight up either, right? Because this region needs to connect to this. That's the point. So this also is an X. There we go. I had the intuition that something was going on, but I didn't quite have it right. So there's 3 shaded cells in this T pentamino. Sorry, T pentamino. In this T, so I certainly can't unshade that one. And I certainly can't unshade that one. Oh, these are both unshaded. Just I just never actually filled it in. But they are both unshaded. Oh, by the way, this is a corner. I might as well switch back to the country road for a minute. Just say that. Okay. Okay, so now I know, remember, I know this region down here needs to connect to this, and that also connected to this, so this doesn't connect to anything else. So therefore, this is now forced to go down like that. This assuredly can't connect over because it's got to go through this corner and that corner. So that, in fact, ends up looking like that. So we end up with all of that. Oh, by the way, this green bottom extends down. We can get rid of those now. So yeah, so we get to do the parity thing on the bottom after I clean up some stuff. Boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. Ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. Okay, so I know that I am entering. Well, I know I'm not connecting across here. Because if I connect across there, I'm definitely not at 4 or 9. So this needs to come down at least this far. And so I know that the area that I'm entering in is one of these two. Yeah, Kyle, I that's how I saw it in my head, but I didn't want to say it that way because that's kind of a cheaty argument. It's not a real argument. So one of these two enters, or one of these two is the way that this enters, and both of these are the same checkerboard color. And so that checkerboard color is, one can see, the opposite of this checkerboard color. And therefore I need an even number of segments on that. And the only way that there's an even number, yeah. So that was, Vish has the thing I was needing to argue to guarantee that this worked. And of course it was true, and I'm guessing Kyle saw it, but I needed it in order to actually make this work. So anyway, so I know that the country road clue is even, so it's a 4. So it needs to be the case that I do that, which means that this is unvisited, which means I need to go that way and that way. And now our country road, I think, is done. This 4 is incorrect. And so this is the most classic Shakona clue in all of the universe, is a P pentamina with a 4 in it, because the P pentamina with a 4 in it, the point is any 3-cell choice I make out of this 2x2 is creating an L that is unacceptable. So therefore I can't choose only 3 of these. I have to choose 4 of them. And so that is green and that is green. So that is the classic Shakona. Okay, I need 3 shaded cells in here. I guess that is acceptable. Oh, there are only 9 cells left. Oh, thank God. Okay, that is I was trying to do everything I could before counting. However, chat has saved me by pointing out that I need to shade 9 of 9, and so I don't have to do a super complicated argument to resolve that. And so that's shaded, and that is unshaded. There's Zeta's 5-star step. Count to 9 out of 9. How on earth, of all things, did LMD rate this as 5 stars? This feels insane to me at 5 stars. I loved the puzzle, but I would have put 2. I yeah, that baffles me. Like even Miami isn't listed at 5 stars, I don't think. Uh uh yeah, I guess if the typical person who's solving it doesn't do like if you've never done a Shakona puzzle before, then I guess you could do it. Yeah, and I do know a lot of people don't like Country Road. Uh but yeah, this is the very rare moment where like almost always, even after solving it, I think the LMD rating is low, but this one uh certainly it is clear the setter has more experience with Country Road. That would be my bet. But yeah, but very cool puzzle. I liked that a lot. Now I want to go make another Shakona puzzle because my previous Shakona puzzle I really liked. And I guess it is one of those things where like you do have to look in a very specific place because a lot of the clues don't do anything until you know exactly the right information. But yeah, I'm curious, what is Miami listed at? Let me pull up Miami and see. I'm curious. I really don't think it's listed at 5, but it could be, and I'm just misremembering it. Let's see. Yeah, Country Road Shakona is a combination that I have wanted to make. I might make a Country Road Shakona Philomeno eventually. That is on my list. Miami is listed at 4 stars for what it's worth. So that would be very suggestive of MicroStudies' claim that it is Country Road that makes people do it. Although I think Denver is also listed at 4 stars. Anyway, really neat puzzle. I enjoy this sort of hybrid, and I was delighted yesterday when I was cruising LMD to discover that MathPesto has published a bunch of this kind of hybrid. So I look forward to doing them all. All right, I am going to take a quick break, and I'll be back, and I probably have time to do one more puzzle today, so I'm going to be right back. I'll do a puzzle, and then we'll see where we go from there. So see you all in just a moment. All right, welcome back, everyone. We have a puzzle by Nell called Four Color Pentomnus number 2. Strangely, I don't think I've done Four Color Pentomnus number 1, but I might have, but when I looked, I didn't see it. So we need to divide the grid entirely into pentominoes. And the pentominoes have names. So, for example, the Z looks like that. Up to rotation reflection. The I looks like that up to rotation reflection. And every pentomino has a color. It's one of these. I'm just going over this with the colors so it looks a little bit better. And two pentominoes can't touch if they have the same letter or the same color. Red, yellow. There we go. Okay, so yeah, the only thing I've been loving pentomino stuff lately, and I've been spending a lot of time trying to set some pentomino stuff because I have been loving all of the pentomino stuff that has been coming out lately. I have not succeeded yet, but I will definitely eventually maybe possibly succeed at my pentominous country road puzzle. Speaking of cursed hybrids. The only thing I don't like about the genre is that it has the really weird couldn't it be the same X? Oh, it can't be the same X. Oh boy. Okay, that is very cool. Okay, sorry. The only thing I don't like about the pentomino genre is that it requires the weird, knowing the weird letters and what shape they correspond to. Most setters include, and I'm sure Nell did, a sort of list of what all the names are. There's not quite room for me to put it all on screen every time I do a pentomino puzzle, unfortunately. But if you Google pentomino letters, it will come up with a guide. That sort of arcane knowledge is sort of weird. But anyway, the point is that these two X's can't be the same because they can't be the same that way, and they can't be the same this way. Yeah, Globaglob has immediately pulled up the pentominoes in another window. It's a good idea. The X's being the same this way doesn't work because they would touch all four colors. So in fact, the X's here must look like that. Okay, and so this X can't go this way. Because if this X went this way, it would be a problem. Because it would be red and it would touch a red. So this one does not go this way, so it goes this way. And so this X is yellow. And looks like this. Oh yeah, I just put the link into a converter. Is what I did. So this X can't go this way now because it would create a one-cell region there. So this X must go this way. And be some color, but I know the shape. I can give you a link probably. There we go. Control. Paste. Let's replace link. Okay, so this is blue or red. Okay, and so we can also start doing things like this cell has to get bigger. And if it doesn't take this cell, actually, I don't think I have to do that. If this blue doesn't take this cell, then this cell's not part of an omino at all, because it would be that, which does not work. So this is also blue. If this cell's not blue, the omino isn't big enough, so that's a problem. So one of these two is blue. This is assuredly red, because this has got to be something, and so it's got to be red. Oh, that actually tells me that this X is blue. As soon as I realize that expands, this is super clever. As soon as I realize that this cell expands there. Now this touches yellow and red, and green, and so this must be blue. Okay, so yeah, so the red here is something this I would not have seen right away. If this cell is red, it breaks because it forces red to be a P and blue to be a P. I guess the point first is if this isn't red, then the puzzle breaks. So I think we have to do this in a couple steps. If this isn't red, then that forces red to pass it, and this becomes isolated. So that is red. And now likewise, that is red, because if it's not, then I don't have enough cells. But now these can't be double P, and so they are L and F, respectively. So that's sort of in a few steps how to do that. Okay. So now the Y is assuredly forced, right? I think the Y now has to look like this, because this is part of the Y. And I don't think there's any Y that includes those two cells that isn't that one, if I am correct. Like that. And so this Y is now yellow. Something buttery smooth. Wait, this isn't a Y? Oh, no, you said, sorry, this is a V. Sorry, I called this an L because yeah, but yeah, this is a V. It doesn't actually matter what it is, but right, but I did call it by the wrong name, right? This is a V. Yeah, we can fill in a few more, like this is the same color as this is the same color as this. Yeah, this assuredly takes one of these three. Oh, what color is it, therefore? Ha ha ha, yes. Therefore, which... Yes, okay. I saw that, but then didn't see the point of it, but Carl encouraged me to look at it because Carl saw the point. The point is, this needs to connect to one of these two. Well, it certainly can't connect to yellow, because then it would be yellow next to yellow. It can't connect to blue either. So it actually has to connect to the red, which then actually forces it completely. And therefore, it is an M. So there we go. Okay, so we get that. It's actually an N. I was just being silly. Okay, so yeah, so this N now is not connected to either of those because of reasons. Because it would share a color. Or sorry, it can't share a border with either of those. And so now this N has to take all of those cells, I believe. Oh, no, sorry. It could do that or something like that, I believe. Anyway, this cell's now yellow. This cell's now green. Okay. Well, now this I... Oh, maybe the I could go up. In fact, the I now... Oh, sorry. The I could be yellow. I mean, I guess that tells me that these three cells are part of the I no matter what, because the I certainly can't go horizontally without breaking because of the green. So the I goes vertically. It's just a question of whether the I is yellow or not. Oh, the I has to be yellow, Vish points out, because if the I isn't yellow, it's not anything. Yes, so if the I isn't yellow, it's not anything. So the I is, in fact, yellow looking like that. That is gorgeous. Good point. Okay. Feels very likely that these two greens are going to be the same thing. In fact, they're definitely going to be the same thing. Because if In fact, I can just say it this way. If this cell isn't green, the two greens collide by force. So this cell has to be green. I don't even have to sort of argue it in any sort of complicated way. Okay. So this N, Kyle points out, is green or red. However, it being green is bad because there's no way to draw it that doesn't touch some of the rebellious greens around. So the N is red. Can't go up like that. It's going to have to do that, right? I think that's what it's going to do, although I'm not confident enough in my ability to rotate N's in my head to say that with certitude. This is definitely blue. Yeah, well, that cell assuredly is not red, because there's no sort of two things that touch each other. You can sort of see each other, two things that touch each other orthogonally, where they could be in the N, and none of them sort of work. So that cell is not red. Oops. Which I think does mean this is red and this is red, and now those are red. I think all of that is forced. And now, funnily enough, that cell's not green because it would be an N touching an N. So we get that coming off. This here is something that is oops, that's not what I wanted. I was trying to do that. And it's not red because it already touches a red, so it definitely does that. No doing that. So this could be a real L, the actual L, if it wants to be. Blue grows, green grows. This green still can't connect there either. So this green grows down. And now the blue is forced here. The blue now can't be an N either, so the blue forms a V, and the green can't connect here because that would make a V. So the green goes there, forcing all of that. Okay, and now the green can't take this cell because it would be a Y, except it's not a Y, so it's a Z. So we get all of that. I guess I have to do a counting thing under here, right? And say that if I connect these two, the world is broken. Because if I connect these two, then I now have to screw up this the count, the mod 5 count of the things, right? Because if I connect these two, I don't have anything to do with these 4 cells. So those two don't connect. I feel like I explained that very poorly, but the point is this is a P. And it's a green P even. So this comes over here. Yeah, there's... So, oh, Lord. Okay. So I see now what happens with this. So this either joins the green or it doesn't. If it doesn't join the green, then it has to go there. Now it can't go there because that would be an N. So it'd have to go there, but now it's a W touching a W, and that doesn't work either. So this, in fact, is the green omino over here. Like that. You can tell why these clues were placed where they were placed, like every time they are used. Okay. This cell's assuredly not green. Let's talk about things. So this is coming out like that. In fact, all of this is one color. I don't know that that color isn't blue. I do know that this doesn't go up there because that would make me an extra Z. So it's either going to be a... Oh, it can't be U either. Because U would force the green down, right? And this green, actually, if I actually just draw it in, the green can't go down. The green has to go left. And the green going left does force this to just be blue. Okay, there was a much more elegant way than the way I originally explained that. But hopefully my more elegant explanation was better. Let's see. Okay. Yes. Okay, so imagine the Y doesn't connect to the gray line. The point is the Y either looks like this or looks like this. In either case, the Y is green and that's broken. So the Y definitely connects to this, at which point it just becomes red. Okay, there we go. So I had convinced myself in a torturous way that that was true earlier, but I didn't want to use it because it was torturous. But Carl gave me the non-torturous way. I did it by sort of torture testing red rather than torture testing the Y, and torture testing red was a lot more involved. Anyway, so these are the same, and notably this isn't green, so it doesn't take that. So we've got that, and so this comes up here, goes over there. That forces this green over here. I thought for sure these two greens were going to connect, but apparently they are not, because we're going to get another N. Like that here. And it is a yellow. Oh, no, sorry. It could be yellow or blue, I think. This N. This is green. Okay, and so this is a green I, actually. Because it can't become an L. And so down here, there are 10 total cells. One of them is green and one of them is blue. So they're all either blue or green, but these aren't green because they touch the green. So those have to be blue. And now this cell can't be blue because if this is blue, we get the PP moment, and we don't want that. So this is green, which forces the blues to connect around like that. Which forces the greens to connect around like that. Okay, and so hopefully I know what color this is. This is a yellow. Okay. This Z is just forced, right? It certainly doesn't look like that. And those are those really the only two options? Those are really the only two options, right? There's no sort of secret third option. I don't think there's a secret third option. Lately, I have been missing secret third options of things. Three-dimensional Z. Okay, so that means the Z is red because it touches everything but red. Nice. Okay, so we've got that coming out there. Oh, this is just all yellow because it immediately runs into the yellow, and it's not a P. So then this becomes yellow. Become green. If this becomes yellow. If this becomes yellow, it doesn't work. It's slightly trickier to see in my head than... Oh, no. Here's the easy way to see it. This cell's always green. Because this is the way to make the thing I was seeing as a kind of complicated look ahead, not a complicated look ahead. This has to be green, because if it's not, green's only 4 cells in size. And now this has to be yellow, because of all of those things I just said. And now the yellows can't touch, or we'd have a problem. So we get that coming over here. This is a something. And so now the yellow can't take this because, right. The yellow would have to take that, which it can't, because yellow can't have the shape of an F. So the yellow always takes this, but now it can't take these two at the back, or it would be a Z touching a Z. So these are green, not yellow. Okay, thinking about it that way was much more profitable. Yeah, yellow can't take the F because that would be bad. These two are the same. Is it green or blue? Oh, right. That's the point. This isn't red. So it can't take that cell because this touches red, so it's not red. So it does take the F. And then I'm pretty sure the only F orientation is this one. And so that means the yellow was a UE. So we've got that. And so now my F is blue. There's only one possible P orientation, too, isn't there? Isn't this the only P orientation? I think this is the only P orientation. And it's not blue, yellow, or red, so it's a green P. Asparagus alert. Okay, so the red comes out here and keeps coming out. This cell better be blue, or we're going to have some pretty bad problems. If this is red, does it force blue to be a P again? I think if this is red, I think it forces blue to be a P again. Yeah, it does. And it would be a P touching a P. So this is not red. Oh, I guess the other way you could have seen it, maybe the easier way to see it is it would break this red, because if this was an I, that red would have to get out, and that would never work. The blue can't not take this cell, because if the blue doesn't take this cell, then blue becomes a P. And now blue can't take this cell, or blue becomes a P, so blue does take that cell. Okay, and we get this thing comes out. This red comes out, and it comes out again because it's certainly not part of this thing, so we get another red V. And this green thing assuredly comes out. Good point, Ron. The red certainly comes out. And it's going to become an N or a Y when it's fully grown, but who knows which. This becoming an L seems fairly likely. It can't not take this cell. Whatever this is, if it doesn't take that cell, then it either goes up, cutting off red, or it goes this way, becoming an L that's not an L shape. So we can't do that. So this always takes this cell. And now it can't actually take this cell, because if it takes this cell, it becomes a Y touching a Y. And I'm not allowed to have my Ys touch. So this, in fact, does that. And this is yellow or green. Except that cell's definitely green if you look at it, because this cell can't be part of the red, so it's going to be green. And so now that tells me this is yellow. Right. That can't be red anymore, points out Josh, because then this cell would be nothing. So this cell is the one that's red, which means that's the one that's green. We can... In fact, I'm just going to do the whole border while we're at it, before any accidents happen. Okay. This cell has to be green. If this cell isn't green, the T forces green to do that and become a second L. So this is always green. And now that can't be green because it would be an N touching an N. So in fact, that's the green, and we get that shape. Okay. Right. So the T either looks like that or like this. We haven't had any T's yet in the entire puzzle, but this T is going to be a T. And there's no way to make a T without it taking the blue. So this T is going to be blue. Let's see. If it goes down vertically, it cuts off cells. Oh, or did you mean this way? Oh, you meant that way. Yeah, that way doesn't work. Because that way, I guess we had a disagreement on what going down vertically means for a T, but I can now see that I can really describe either as going down vertically. But this one definitely doesn't work because these two cells can't be blue and they can't be anything else. So that becomes blue instead. Oops. There we go. Okay. And now this is a none-blue thing. And whatever none-blue thing it is, it's a V, because it's going to have to escape through this cell. So these are all going to be the same, which means it's going to have that shape exactly forced upon it. So it's going to be exactly that shape, which means that these are going to become blue by the fact that they have to be something. And they're not going to be a Y, so they're going to be a blue P. Side effects include, have that. This V super isn't blue. It is the least blue V that has ever existed, since it touches blue in like 17 different directions. Should I count how many cells are in here? I would love this would be an excellent opportunity for the Math Pesto count button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. There are 22 cells, which means that we need to hang out 3 total cells if we take all of these cells, for what it is worth. Oh yeah, that's smart. Yeah, the seeing that it is 16 plus 6 is a smart way to do it. Yeah, I was trying to avoid looking at the 2 U's, but I suppose it is worth sort of maybe investigating. So like the U can't do that. So this U just can't take this blue at all. Because if this U takes this blue, then you could just sort of case check the things. And see that it does not work, which means that this blue goes down. I think they have to be the same U, but arguing that seemed messy, so I was trying to avoid it. Okay. So this can't be blue by our previous math. Oh, no, that's not true. Sorry, this can be blue. No, this can't be blue by our previous math, because if this was blue, then I would have 4 cells hanging out, not 3. Wait, no, that's not true. Sorry, this could just be a P. What am I talking about? Never mind. So yeah, I don't think I can quite argue that. See, I'm trying to think of what the nice way to say that the U's are separate is. I do not have a super nice way to say that the U's are separate. Let's see okay, here's the nice way. If the U's are separate, then these 2 cells aren't U's, and the U gets cut off. There we go. There's the nice way to say it. Okay, got it. So that, yes, if the U's are separate, these are this is a 3-cell U, so that doesn't work. So the U's join, and the U's don't join like that, because we need to include at least 1 cell. So now I'm trying to make sure I 100% rigorously prove that the U actually looks like what I think it does, which is that. Right. If this cell isn't part of the U, then it makes a W like that, except the W that looks like that has a serious issue, which is that it makes this U completely impossible to construct. So therefore, this is definitely part of the U. And so now, if this isn't part of the U, this isn't a U shape. So this is part of the U. And therefore, now the U looks like that. This just had, I think I've checked all the cases, but I missed one written all over it. So I wanted to be extra careful about it to make sure that that I did not screw anything up. Okay, so now this is now an L shape for sure. So the green is going to become a Y. I don't know which Y, but I know all of those are going to be there. So like this cell. Do I know for sure this cell isn't green? Yes, but only in a ridiculous way. If this cell were green, it would become part of a Y here, but now it would touch this Y. So this cell has to escape. So it's the same as this thing here is what I was trying to argue. And that actually forces the Y here. Yes, the fact that that cell had to escape was exactly what I was trying to prove, Eckbert. So therefore these connect, and those can't be both green, or we run into problems. So now this is actually forced to look like that. We get all of that. Oh, this is done, by the way. These join. This is done. We can undo all of that. It is very sad that we have these uncolored pentominoes. We'll eventually make them colored, I'm sure. Uh, uh, right. Okay. So I understand now. So each of these touch a blue thing and a green thing. So they're actually a yellow-red pair. And as a yellow-red pair touches this along with a green, that means this is definitively blue. Which is helpful. Now, I'm trying to imagine what happens in the world where this is yellow. And I think it's bad. Because if this is yellow, it can't take that cell, of course, so it has to come out. Okay, maybe I should first at least mark that that is thing. Blue can maybe come here. Okay. If this cell isn't blue, then blue lives entirely in these cells. But that's a problem because no pentomino that lives entirely in those cells doesn't cut off blue, or sorry, doesn't cut off green. So that cell's definitely blue. Now, of these cells, like this one has to be red or blue. I don't know about it being red. Oh, right. No, we've made progress because, as Garion points out, this cell now grows. Now that we've done this little bit with the blue, this cell now certainly takes those. And so it's certainly not green. And so now the green is forced to take this cell and that cell, actually. And so there we go. Okay, so I was correct to not try and force it. So we have blue there. Okay, and so now this is a T. And it is a T of the red variety. Yeah, the calculating the 3 extras was a complete waste of time, as it turns out. But it was borne out in reality. That cell's not blue because it would be a P touching a P. Oh, and that cell's not blue because it would be a V touching a V. So therefore, that cell's the blue one. Red extends. This cell's definitely blue because it's blue or green and it's not green. Okay, so if that cell's not blue or that cell's not blue, it makes a P. So those two cells are both blue, which makes that green. Because of the P above it. Okay. Uh, so is the W red? Uh, yeah, shortly, the elegant way through this is to think about colors. So, like, this is red or green, for example. This is red or blue. Uh, hmm. Let's see. That was exactly the proof I was trying to avoid, Paul Fly. That was in the like, I see that, but it feels distasteful. Uh, if these two are in the same omino, then that omino is red, and that feels like it could be a problem. Uh, uh, Possible that that is the way to. Uh, I mean, it's possible that this is the point where the setter just goes, "Oh, I guess this W makes it unique," and there's so few things that it's not that bad if someone has to check a handful of cases. Uh, uh, so yeah, so this is 20 cells, right? Uh, uh, we know one of them is red and one of them is green. Uh, uh, Row 8, column 8 is not. Luther College Pride is my T-shirt today. It is the place I teach. Uh, I'm trying to understand Dorlier's point about this touching all four colors. Uh, okay. Oh, talking about like I don't think there's any W that plausibly includes this cell, is there? Uh, uh, like I'm noting if this cell is green and it connects to that, then it's a W, and that seems really problematic. Uh, Given that there's another W next to it. But I don't think it instantly breaks. Uh, uh, Oh, does it actually have two W's in the solution? Uh, oh yeah, that works. Yep, that does work. Uh, I wish I knew that the remaining ominoes had to be one of each color. It feels like you could do something elegant if you did that, uh, but anyway, the thing that people have noted is that this definitely doesn't work. Uh, uh, but the argument has to do with like what is left is the reason why is very bashy, uh, which is why I've been trying to avoid it. Uh, but uh, but it definitely doesn't work. Uh, oh, let's see. Vish says there can't be a blue pentomino. That sounds very interesting. Uh, if there's a blue pentomino, it's certainly not a W. So if there is a blue pentomino, it would certainly need to come up here at least. And it couldn't take that cell. Can't take that cell. So it would have to take that cell and that cell. So if this pentomino is blue, it definitely looks like this, which has a very big problem, which is that there's 7 cells over on this side. So this actually can't be blue. I like that better than the other argument. This actually can't be blue. And so this cell is definitely red. That felt a little bit easier to me. In terms of that. Okay, and so now if the reds don't connect, somehow this becomes a W, and that's a big problem because the W either goes that way or the W goes this way, and both of those ways cut off non-pentominoes. So these connect. The W definitely isn't the red. Red already touches an L, and so red is in fact a Y. Looking like this. Okay, I like that a lot better. So now my W is probably going to have to look like this because it can't look like that because of the fact that these two are connected. And so now the W has to look like this and be some color. And so now these two join. Let's see. And I can go ahead and mark that I know that this is yellow or green just for my sanity. Let's see. I think it is green, isn't it? Is this being red actually possible? I think if this is red, it goes up for sure. But now we've sort of broken because it can't go up again. And so if this is red, it's a W touching a W. So it's actually definitely green. So this is 10 total cells. And so they can't both be green. So it's 2 pentominoes of 2 different colors. And so this green needs to connect to that green. Assuredly, that means that it is exactly that, because otherwise this cell would be isolated. So we get that. And so we have this pentomino here, which is yellow, which then makes this green, which now makes this red, which now makes this yellow, which now makes this red. There we go. That was lovely as a puzzle. We did eventually find something that was better than the really bashy way of sort of handling this, but I think it probably wasn't the intended way. I'm going to guess the intended way was probably just check the thing and see if it works, and then if it doesn't work, then it's okay. That is my my guess. But anyway. That was a great string of puzzles. By the way, through the record, for those of you who track this kind of thing, both of these past puzzles would have gotten a heart from me at the end if I had the option of putting a heart on them. But Sudoku Pad doesn't give you sort of the option on these sorts of pencil puzzles. But the coveted Zeta heart would have gone on both of these. Yeah, we had a string of 4 excellent puzzles today, so quite happy with that. All right, but that's going to be all for today's stream. So thank you to everyone for hanging out. Thank you to everyone who supports the stream financially. Yes, definitely amazing puzzles today, Kyle. I absolutely agree. If you'd like to support the stream financially, then you could do so by clicking the join button down below, where you can become a fan or a windmill or a turbine and get your own little windmill next to your name, like you can see many of in chat. Get access to the Zach emotes at various other levels. You get various other nice things as well as our undying gratitude. So thank you so much to everyone. We'll be back on Friday with another stream. I might do an impromptu setting stream or animal well stream between now and then. I definitely would like to do some more pencil puzzles. I feel like, if I'm being honest, I feel like the Sudoku world has taken a turn towards puzzles that I'm not a big fan of overall recently. So I may try and dig up more pencil puzzles that I can do while things sort of slowly return back towards these sorts of things. But yeah, I might do a setting stream. I might do a setting stream on Friday. Actually, it's possible. As sort of at the regular stream time, we will see. I have greatly been enjoying doing the setting streams lately, so I will probably do that. Yeah, we might just do a pencil puzzle setting stream where we actually make the Pentomino Country Road Philomeno puzzle work or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that's all for now. Thanks to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all real soon. Last but not least, I'll thank our windmills, Daniel, Danita, David, Franco, Nell, author of this last great puzzle, Nordy, Plonktime, and DDX. Thank you so much. I'll see you all real soon. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.